let's move on and talk about the mineral royalties now, because government has relayed the lithium mining deal and it's now proposing what it calls the sliding scale royalty regime that adjusts rate between 5 and 12% based on lithium's market price. Kojo, let me start with you because you have a lot of in these areas. I mean, someone will say this is the best way to go, right? So you peg it when the price is low, your royalty comes down. When the price is high, your royalty goes up. Is that not the best thing to do?
Well, yeah, it is when the concept is the right concept. Whether it is implemented correctly is two different things. You know, I have always said that we've always gone from instances where we do not do the right thing when it comes to implementation. You would have politicians take a novel idea, a novelty, right? And basically the implementation is wrong. This concept of sliding scale of royalties is a good thing, depending on where you are starting from and the parameters within which you are starting with. If you look at what the case is from the beginning, when that same company, right, went for the agreement, right, it was 10%.
Yes.
And even at that, our brothers and sisters who are in government today were in opposition, and they made all the noise about it and said that 10% is a rip-off. Why is the government succumbing to this? Why are we doing this, right? At that time, the margin that person will get was about 20% based on the prevailing price at the time, which was $800, and on operating cost of $610. Okay? So at the time, the guy was happy to sign on to a 10% royalty. When his operating cost was $610, the cost per ton of lithium was $800, and his margin was 20%. He was happy with it. But then the opposition, the NDC, now basically criticized the MPP that they are selling the country short, blah, 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 blah. We want to reset this country. We'll come in and change things. Then they came in with a supermajority, the reset agenda. What did they do? They come with 5%. Now, at the 5%, the price per ton of lithium is much higher than when it was when they brought it at $800. Today, the price per ton of lithium is higher, but the NDC reset is to make sure that Ghana gets less. Then everybody complained. Then they withdrew it and they said, okay, we are bringing it back. We brought a sliding scale. But guess what? The minister is still setting the low end of the sliding scale to 5%. So it doesn't mean it's still not 5%. What it means is that, yes, in the future, when there is an improvement in the physicals, right, when the prices go up, which is still higher than what it was when last year the NDC criticized the MPP, right? Today is about $1,200. But the minister is insisting that the lowest that we should start off from is 5%. So though the concept of sliding scale is a good thing, its implementation in this thing is being done wrongly. So the concept is okay. I don't have a problem with a sliding scale because we are proposing sliding scale for the upstream also, right? That we shouldn't always have royalties in a straitjacket because that is not business friendly. When dynamics change, you should either favor the government or favor the businessman. But what we want to hear from the NDC, and Ghanaians want to know why Honorable Boa is so adamant on the 5%. When the company had agreed, today, based on the physicals that they have now given them, right, the company's margin is now 45% because their operating cost is still $610. So Honorable Boa wants the company to be more richer than Ghana because when the company was happy to sign on to 10%, the cost per ton was $800. Today, the cost per ton is about $120,200. The company's operating cost, according to those that have done some civil society organizations like Imani, have done some of the maths, and they are saying that the operating margin, the margin that the company will make, will be $45 now if it is not what, is it 45% or 45? Hold on. Yes, 45%. They will make 45% profit margin as compared to 20% that the company was happy to make last year. So today, what the NDC and Honorable should tell Ghanaians is that Why is he allowing a company who was happy to do 10% last year to do 5%, a company that was happy to do 20% profit margin last year, to do 40% profit margin this year? Why? What is it that the government just reset? Is that the reset they promised Ghanaians?
The 45% is based on which percentage?
Okay, so basically, this is how the maths were done. If you look at, there is what you call the production cost. So the production cost between the two regimes are constant. It's $610, their production cost. Then you look at how much they are going to sell the lithium for. What is the world market price for lithium? So the world market price for lithium now is around 1,200 per ton. Last year, when MPP took the 10% to Parliament, when the NDC objected and said all sorts of things, it was $800 per ton. And the company's profit margin would have been 20%. And the company was happy with the 10% at 20% profit margin and pay royalties of 10%. Today, Honorable Boy, the NDC, is telling Ghanaians that let these people pay 5% so that they make 45% profit margin at a higher cost per ton, 1,200 per ton. So they should explain to us why the company should make more than Ghanaians. Because at this stage, the sliding scale is a good idea, but we should start off from 10%, not 5%.
Okay. All right. Amanda, let me bring you in. Where do you stand on this? He says sliding scale is good, but it should start from 10%. I mean, government obviously is looking at the interests of Ghana, but also looking at how we can make Ghana a business-friendly environment.
Yes, but I mean, whilst we're making Ghana a business-friendly environment, it's all about value addition, timelines, because right now what we have is leverage. Before anything is passed, what we have is leverage. And people must really understand that lithium is going to define Ghana's next economic era. I mean, this is real big business. And what is happening now is Parliament is not actually approving a lithium mine. It's actually approving, as you said, a royalty framework. But ultimately, I think what we have to look at is also what has been said about the Honourable Minister, that initially he said, he'd consulted widely, so that's why this is out. But then he yanked it on the basis that he didn't supposedly consult. And whilst people talk about consulting, CSOs, etc., I think who people should also consult are lawyers. Because in Ghana we have international lawyers who specialize in energy, like myself.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay.
And internationally, we also have lawyers. And as someone who sat under at least 3 attorney generals, including the first 2 female attorney generals and the last OSP, during NDC times, as someone who sat under those people, I remember my time at the Attorney General's Department where we'd have to review things, deal with international things. And we did have a lot of opinions, from private practitioners in Ghana as well as international ones. And so consultation is not just CSOs, but the fine print. And why I say it's about the fine print, because the instrument right now, as laid before Parliament, introduces 3 main things: a sliding scale, royalty for lithium starting, I think, at 7%.
5%.
No, 5%.
What, 5%? And rising.
It's 5%.
It's 7%.
I confirmed it. 5%. I confirmed it from parliamentary document. It's 5%.
It's
It's
not
true.
Okay.
No, it's
They
not.
said when it is going up.
It is
What is on joy right now?
No,
Right now.
then
7%.
no. They should go to.
May I land? May I land?
This is from Franklin.
See, they should ask. No, but hold on. It's not allowed them, my brother.
Okay, may I?
Hold on, my brother.
No, let me finish. When I finish my point, because this is my time.
Don't use 7%.
Okay.
5%.
Okay, it's
5%.
starting at a certain level.
5%.
It establishes a 1% community development fund, and it standardizes royalty across minerals. What it does not do is equally important. It does not approve any specific lithium project. It does not require local processing. It does not define how the state's equity interests will be governed. And it does not resolve questions about long-term value capture. And I talk about value capture because other countries have been here before where we are. And countries such as Zimbabwe, for instance, imposed exports based on raw raw lithium. Countries such as Chile required processing before exports. and things like that. So this value additional timeline is extremely important. And why it matters is that once mining begins at scale, right, leverage drops. So after approval, these timelines become negotiation battles. But before approval, timelines are important. So it's really about governance. Okay. And so although it is commendable that the Honourable Minister, yanked it, saw the mistakes, and put it before Parliament, I would say that it shouldn't be approved as it is until there are long-term benefits that capture more for Ghana at this stage before approval, because the mine hasn't been approved, but at the royalty stage we really have to think about governance, doing it well, and we also have to look back at gold, because we didn't, for instance, capture some of these things at the beginning for gold. We were exporting raw gold and we saw maybe there's a loss, and look how long it's taking us to go back. You see what I mean? So this is the stage to learn from our mistakes and to not just use it as a political tool about NDC, NPP fighting, but literally capture this, value additional timelines, make it for the benefit of Ghana and long-term economic, benefit, and then maybe put it before Parliament. But as it is, I wouldn't recommend going ahead with, voting it in, basically.
I get your point, especially about when the mine starts, your leverage reduces.
Yes.
So rather, before it starts, get all that you can before it starts.
Yes.
But you said something about lithium becoming the next economic framework of Ghana.
Yeah.
So it means that, and you've concluded rightly, that because of that, we shouldn't start in this current form. We should rather get better than we are. What would be your proposal, your government, to say, okay, Amanda, propose to us what we can do?
I just think you have to look at the fact that, I think lithium was at 70,000 a ton in 2022. It's dropped, but it's likely to go up. To look at the fact that this is a commodity that is a green energy. Yeah. So it is going to increase in value as more people need batteries, laptops, LV cars, that sort of things. And ultimately, value addition means improving concentrate quality. It means chemical conversion. It means battery grade inputs. And it ultimately means learning from what other countries, such as Chile, Zimbabwe, have done, and not just making this a political hotbed, but literally, if it's for the benefit of Ghanaians, why shouldn't we gain that leverage at full capacity now, before we move on to setting up the mine? And ultimately, it's also about consultation. Yes, CSOs you can consult, but this is a multi-billion-dollar deal. How much is it really going to cost Ghana to involve 4 private firms within Ghana and 2 private firms outside Ghana, put that together, and then put together the CSOs? It's not going to cost a lot, and it's something the NDC has done in the past, whilst I was at the Attorney General's Department, in terms of this wide consultation with the Legislative Drafting Department, private practitioners and external practitioners. So if that had properly been done, I think we would have seen a reflection in the bill. But as the bill stands, I do agree with NPP that we really need to focus more on governance, and then perhaps present a better bill.
Okay. So, just to help all of us, yes, the scale stands from 5 to 12. Yeah. But currently the minister says it will attract a rate of 7%. So it means that it can't go below 5. But currently it will attract a rate of 7% per what the minister has been saying. Let me come to you, Madam Nabila. There are people who have said that if you look at the capital that the investor is willing to inject into the business, $200 million, they're asking, why can't the government do that? If you were the president, will you have committed resources to doing this for the country?
I would never have done that.
Okay.
Either we allow our lithium to stay where it is so that the next generation who will have more way of doing things to the benefit of Ghanaians come out with those ideas to do it. I would have allowed it. If I don't have the money to invest, then I will allow it to for the next generation, because the lithium is not only for us, it is also for the next generation. So when we are doing things, we shouldn't just look at the present people that are here. We should also think for the next generation. you ask yourself, 5%, the thing still remains at 5%. Yesterday, I saw Franklin Kujo coming out on his Facebook page to apologize that he was the one who spoke about the 7%. He has gone into the document and has seen that it is still 5%. It's only when the prices go up, their profit goes up, that they will now set us on the 7% pedestal. Then you check. I've just heard you talk about $200 million. How much is $200 million that we cannot be able to find to do this? But I want you to know that when these things are going on, people have their shares. I heard that they consulted CSOs. And so the CSOs agreed. When the NDC government, MPP government was there, they were able to bargain for 10% for us. Even when the money was, their profit margins were lower and the percentages were lower, they agreed to do that 10%. Only NDC government has come and went and consulted CSOs. I want you to underline the CSOs with a red line. They went to consult CSOs. All of a sudden,
there's one sitting here, I beg you.
No. You are part of it. Because this CSOs thing is becoming one too many. And Ghanaians must call them out. Because you cannot just come and join politicians to destroy the country. All because of your advice. Which CSOs did they advise? And they told them that they should go ahead and take the 5%. If they can mention the names of the CSOs so that Ghanaians can see them.
Last week.
And they agree for the 5%.
Yes, they said.
We need the names of these CSOs.
They didn't agree to 5%. They said a sliding scale.
Can I bring in this comment briefly? Just briefly. This is from Franklin. Franklin said, given President John Mahama's serious regard to lithium conversation by publicly engaging on the subject, we would urge the minister to ensure all decisions related to this matter be transparent, consultative, data-driven, as the president has clearly directed. So the CSO, even from myself and Franklin Kujo, which is Imani, do not agree with what's on the table.
Because even when you agree, you are not the only Ghanaian. CSO, how many are you? What following do you have that you can sit down with government and make decisions for 35 million Ghanaians? Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't. Look, if they want to do consultation, they should do town hall consultations, starting from all the various districts, 261 districts. You can't come and pick CSOs that you are consulting them. So because of that, you are giving everything out to people who want to engage in lithium, what, and then you are giving us 5%. 5% for what? Look, the Speaker of Parliament, I believe in this guy. I believed in him in the olden days. And I was happy that he was the Speaker because I knew that his maturity was going to be brought to bear. I also knew that his political experience would have helped in moving this country forward. But the Speaker is becoming more of a political NDC. He's now working for the NDC more than the people of Ghana. This is your parliament. Speaker Bagben, this is your parliament. And if this lithium deal should pass through parliament, what it means is that the Speaker is not fighting for anyone.
No, but he doesn't have power over it. As soon as it gets to plenary, it is the numbers.
Wait, what I'm saying, but he will agree for it to go through everything. Well, if you are bringing something to put in parliament, it goes to him direct. Yeah. He will tell you, Lay, do this. If he looks at it and this deal is not good, it should not even pass through. It shouldn't go to where it will be a time for them to vote. He shouldn't do that. He should talk to the president.
I was thinking he gives it to the committee.
That's what I'm saying.
He can only advise them, but he can't decide. He can only advise them.
But if he advises them, if the committee finish its findings, they will bring it to the Speaker. The Speaker picks it and go to the president and tell the president, this is not a good deal. This is never a good deal. In the MPP era, they brought 10%. And we said no. So the 5%, scaling up or whatever they call it, is not something that we should go along. So to me, as a politician, I don't think that what the NDC is doing is right. NDC, you came in here to reset, and we are seeing that your resetting is a negative resetting. A resetter we were supposed to have 10%. You are coming to now reset us to 5%. That is a negative resetting. And I think you should consult yourself. Because 2028, you won't have any message for the people of Ghana. Because all these things will be used against you. And the people of Ghana, they will listen. Please, for the sake of your party and the one who will be coming as a presidential candidate, do something about this. Because to cause financial loss to this country to this magnitude, you won't go away with it. You will never go away with it. Because this is not just small money. What happened? Why were you not even talking about 15%? To me, Ghanaians should not agree unless it goes to 15%. Because if lithium prices were 800,000 and they were ready to give us 10%, now the prices are 1,200. We should be able to be getting 15 or 20%. Without that, we should allow the lithium to stay where it is. And more to the point, let's look for money and do it ourselves. Why are we giving it to companies? They know why they want to give it to companies.
Okay.
They know why.
Madam Nabla, there. Now, let me bring in, Wanda Madilo. Now, Franklin Kujo says, we see the Lands and Minerals Minister has laid an amended lithium agreement before Parliament. On the last day, Parliament rose for the holidays. This is a quote attributed to him. First off, we acknowledge the Minister's decision now to adopt the sliding scale for royalty with 12% maximal bound as a starting victory for CSO activism. We thank the Minister. Sadly, though, he went for a 5% royalty rate when the price of lithium is higher today, 1,200 per ton, with the investors' production per ton being 610, translating to a near 45% profit margin, which Kofi Kwadwo has earlier alluded to. In 2024, the same investor was prepared to sign the agreement when its profit margin was less than 20% based on an outrage price of $800 per ton, with a production cost of still 610 per ton and a royalty rate of 10%. So, Wanda, won't you agree with Madam Nabla when she says you could have gone for even a 15% and not just say ended at 10?
No, ended at 12.
12%, yes.
Let me first and foremost greet everybody watching this program this morning. I've always said that it's important that we get our facts right when we come on TV. And I hear everybody talking about lithium. There is no deal in Parliament concerning lithium.
They haven't made an agreement.
Excuse me, what we have in Parliament is an LI. It's a regulation for mining. It has nothing to do with only bauxite, gold, lithium, nickel. All of them are inclusive in this.
You are saying
hold on.
The LI has not been laid?
Hold on.
The lithium agreement has not been laid?
Hold on.
Oh, you've said something. I want you to clarify.
I'm coming.
You're saying the lithium
what we are
agreement has not been
discussing,
laid.
this business about 5%, 7%, has to do with mining regulation.
Okay.
It covers gold, it covers bauxite, it covers lithium, it covers nickel, and all the mineral resources that are mined in Ghana.
Let me come back to my question.
So,
Wanda, help us.
I'm not going.
Help us. You know, you've said something.
Making my present. Let
you
me
said no. You just said that
but
we have all not been factual.
You cannot say things that we don't know what we are talking about, and then you
said
right.
You said
you can't
we have
all
not been factual by.
Yeah, we've not been factual.
And I'm asking you. So are you saying that the lithium agreement has not been laid?
The lithium agreement that was laid earlier has been withdrawn.
Yes,
that
he has not really laid it.
We are not talking about lithium agreement at this point.
But would this be applied to the lithium? Would this, let's even stick to the regulation. Let's apply. No, hold on. You are saying that we are talking about framework.
You've been talking about lithium on and on. And I'm putting it on record.
Yes.
That what is before Parliament is the LI governing mining.
Okay.
It has nothing.
Will it apply to lithium?
Oh, come on.
No, yes or no? It will help us. Will it apply to lithium?
It will apply to gold.
Would it apply to lithium?
It will apply to gold.
No.
Let's go.
But
make your submission. Ghanaians are watching you. Make your submission.
The lithium agreement has been relayed in Parliament.
I am not talking about lithium agreement.
No, but you're saying that it's not
the 5% you are discussing.
That's what we are discussing.
With the LI,
my brother,
concerning mining.
Tell Ghanaians why your research agenda is doing 5% instead of more than 10%. That's what you should tell Ghanaians.
Wanda,
you should.
The way you
are starting from.
You painted a picture as though none of us
know what
it's correct to say lithium agreement has been laid in Parliament. You said it has not been laid.
Well, I am saying, I'm saying that what you are mixing the point. The issues are different. What has been laid, based on which they are making the argument, has to do with mining in general.
Does it apply to lithium?
It's a regulation for mining. Hitherto we didn't have. So many of the agreements that we have signed, for instance, the 5% on gold is fixed. So this time around, government has decided to review that. And in reviewing it, it brought what you call the sliding scale, which says that anytime, at any given point in time, when government feels and the prices are good on the market, government can renegotiate the rates.
Yeah.
And the base rate
Okay.
on that.
I get it. I'll let you. No. Could you let him make his point?
Making a submission.
Let him make his point.
Let's correct it.
What are you correcting?
I'll bring you.
Because it's
what are
not
you
government.
correcting?
It is not
It's
government to
submission.
renegotiate. No, it is not government to renegotiate. The sliding scale, my brother, we propagated the sliding. Let's educate you.
No,
The sliding scale is not for government to renegotiate. The sliding scale is based on certain physicals. When those physicals kicks in, the sliding scale takes effect. It's not for government to renegotiate.
I get it.
So let's
I get it.
correct that.
What have you said?
You said government to
Wonder.
renegotiate.
No, could you please allow Wonder.
But let's correct it.
But Wonder.
You don't come here and say,
Wonder, you have still. Wonder. You make your point. No, could you please allow him? Wonder, but you have still not answered my question, right?
What question is?
My question.
I haven't spoken to
Do
lithium.
you? No. That's what your
lithium.
That was your initial point.
I am
though.
saying that the agreement
Your-
you have been discussing has to do with mining. Forget about what you discussed.
And you
If
said
discuss mining, that's
you are saying has not been in
And I'm not
Parliament.
going to that area.
But lawyer has spoken about this. Nabla, and you
I'm
said that we
saying
didn't know
I'm not going to
the
that
agreement
area because
but has the agreement been
never
relayed?
mentioned lithium deal.
Hey,
I mentioned mining.
that was your opening remark.
I talked about mining.
That's your opening remark.
And I'm saying that what you are discussing is in the mining regulation, not in lithium.
But you said
if
the
you want to
lithium has not
discuss
been
lithium, bring lithium and let's discuss
You
it.
said the lithium has not been relayed.
I'm not talking about
Has it
lithium.
been relayed?
But
or
how
no?
do you talk about what is relayed and talk about the content?
No problem.
of another,
Let's move on.
Another regulation.
Let's move on. We are not talking about another regulation.
And I'm saying that the
We're talking about
regulation you are
lithium.
discussing has to do with the mining regulation.
Okay.
Is
So
that right?
What is the
Can we make
royalty,
progress?
what is the royalty rate with the lithium agreement?
For the lithium agreement. What I know is that the base rate is from 7 and it goes all the way to, for lithium, I don't know about lithium, I'm talking about the mining scale, the sliding scale. It talks about 7, it has 1% community development, it goes all the way up to 12%. That's what I know.
Start from 5, not 7.
Well, I don't know about you. You were talking about something else. I don't know. What I know is that 7, 1% community development, and all the way up to 12%. That's what I know.
It starts from 5.
If you have any other information,
It starts
any
from
other
5. That's what
source,
I've told you. It
Bring
starts
it
from
out.
5.
Bring your source. It's not a problem. We can discuss it. Now, going forward.
I'll send it to you, don't worry.
Going forward.
Yeah,
Going forward. I think that we have been, in terms of mining in this country, the agreements that we have had with almost all the mining companies, the conglomerates that comes to the country, has always been on the basis of what government wants to do, what government sees fit, and then how much they are able to negotiate their way through it. We think that was making enough. Government decided that, okay, let's sanitize the system. Such that nobody comes to power and say, oh, because things are bad, we are going to leave it at 3% or 1%. Let's have a cap. And the cap has to do with the base rate and then the ceiling rate. So I'm at a loss when all the focus and the discussions about lithium. We're looking at the bigger picture of the whole mining sector. And that mining sector is what we should be looking at.
Okay, let's say I want us to focus on with the production has decided that we focus on lithium.
You didn't say
No, we sent it to you.
That was not part of it.
With regards to the mining regime you're talking about and how it affects lithium. How beneficial is that?
Let's go. When we get to lithium, we can discuss.
I'm talking
That's what we are discussing now.
I don't have
Bro,
lithium.
you can't come in unprepared. You
I'm
can't come in unprepared. You didn't come prepared.
What do you mean by that?
Unprepared.
What do you mean? We were talking about.
You are talking about lithium. You said talking about lithium. You didn't come
the
prepared.
flyer that you saw.
No, hold on.
It said
had lithium.
it said lithium.
It was specific.
It's lithium.
Yes.
Even
Let's talk about
even
lithium.
on the lithium deal. I remember government had proposed 5% earlier. That came with a lot of uproar. I mean, civil society, Ghanaians, myself, you also mentioned that. And government decided to withdraw that and go for a better deal. Now, at the time that the MPP was signing this agreement, what was the rate of lithium on the world market?
800.
They say 800.
Yeah.
Today it's about 1,200.
Yes.
Now, I know, simple mathematics tells me that if you are taking 5% of 800,
No, you're
No,
taking
the way-
10%.
10% of 800, that
Yes.
would have been 80. 5% of 1,200 will be how much? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But for me,
It's 60.
For me, what is
No, I'm telling you.
What is
So we should
Bro,
take
I'm
more.
telling you.
And I'm making
5%
my
of
point.
1,002 is
Take your-
60.
Will you continue this?
No, but
If this
No,
continue-
but you don't know what it is.
let him
No,
finish.
but I have done the math for him.
Yeah, you will come in.
No, but
write
what I know
it down.
No.
Write it down.
What I know,
Yeah,
what I know,
sort
with
of
my
communication is
7%,
this?
hold on, with my 7% is 84. With my 7% that I know is 84. Your 10% of the 800 is 80.
Oh, no.
The 10% of 1,000.
Okay, hold on. Let me do my work with him.
Go ahead.
Now,
Go
okay.
ahead.
So the man was willing to take 10% on 800, right?
Now it's 1.
And which means that the 10%, the 800 would not have stayed same. It would have gone up. And anytime it goes up, the 10% affected, right?
Yes.
So at this 1,200, the 10% will kick
10%
in.
would have-
That's fine. That's a different argument to that.
So if
I
you-
only mentioned my figures.
Okay, you know,
On what it was at the time. I'm saying that.
No. But Wanda, you need to be.
The
you need to be
agreement
true-
was
you
not
need to
signed
truth
at
the
the
fact.
time. Hold on. The agreement was not signed at the
It
time.
was signed.
What
It was
signed?
not ratified. It was signed between government and Barari. We saw it.
But
we covered
the
it.
agreement come into effect when Parliament ratifies it.
Yes, but be
Signing
frank that
notwithstanding.
they signed it. They agreed that we like this deal.
Are we going to have this?
But don't come and do
no, we
voodoo
just want-
mathematics on
So
the
allow me
program.
to talk and then.
But you can't do what you're doing. It's voodoo
It's as
mathematics.
though you and I now.
Oh no. We just have to be fair. We have to be fair to the
Allow
fact.
Ghanaians. Be fair to Ghanaians.
At the time they signed it.
Majority.
Of course, Parliament has not ratified, so we
Yes.
can't even discuss it. That lost its verve by the time Parliament ended the last, season or whatever you want to call it. We're in a new season. A new government comes in and says, this is what the rate is. It's been talked about. It's been withdrawn. That is aside. I am saying that what we are discussing at the point currently has to do with the LI that was laid. That LI is a mining regulation. It has not been limited only to lithium. When we get to the lithium agreement, and that is properly, calculated, we can be discussing it.
Okay, so-
but at this point, we're discussing an LI that has to do with mining in general.
Hey.
And that is where my focus
Okay,
is.
let me, Amanda, it looks like you are confused with what.
Well, you know what? I mean, I just think that it's not just about how much money does Ghana receive per ton. We have to ask ourselves the bigger questions because that is what we're here for. Not everybody who's listening to us understands the technicality of what we're saying. So perhaps we can just address it in terms of what are the bigger concerns when it comes to lithium and the commodity and how much Ghana can get. The bigger questions are, will Ghana process lithium locally? Will the state have influence over key decisions? Will value addition happen now or be postponed indefinitely? Will future governments have leverage or inherit a locked-in limitation? These are the questions to ask because ultimately royalties generate cash, but they do not create processing plants, skills, or technology transfers. And ultimately, without processing commitment, Ghana is basically exporting opportunities. So I really think it's about the bigger questions that we should ask, not just the technicalities, because perhaps our audience might not necessarily understand that or just get bogged down with that. But ultimately, it's about governance and how are we going to manage this long term, looking at it 50 years in the future, 100 years in the future, because Ghana is arguably the largest exporter of gold on the continent. And it's only, in 2025 that we are really, really addressing something such as the Ghana Gold Board, how we're going to regulate it, centralize it, and above all, not just the raw commodity going out, but what are we getting in Ghana? So if we've learned that lesson as a precedent in terms of a commodity, why would we enter this, even at the royalties stage, not thinking through it more? That's the ultimate. It's not about politics. It's about thinking through it more and respectfully, consulting with not just CSOs, but international lawyers based in Ghana and international lawyers based abroad, and then having further and further and further talks without feeling this rush to just present this bill, because it gives the impression to people, why are you rushing such an important thing? So these are the bigger issues that we have to discuss on the show, not just like the 5%, 7%, because we're going to lose most of our audience on technicalities. Not just.
So can I come in?
Okay.
Well, we're not going to lose our audience. I know my audience, and we know what the audience are. It is politics. And I know you want to push your agenda of us advocating that the international lawyers be brought in when we are meeting. I will do that for you. So next time we'll do that. So as a civil society member. But you see, we are not losing our audience. Our audience know exactly what is going on. There was a party called NDC that was in opposition that says that 10% was a rip-off for Ghana. They are going to be reset. They went to election. Ghanaians voted for them. They came into power. The reset is giving Ghanaians 5%. Even let's say the 7% he's talking about. That is the conversation. It is politics. Because when you vote a government like the NDC into power and they deceive you with words like reset, and Ghanaians don't even know what they are resetting. But they bought into something to be resetted. What are we resetting today? So, Amanda, trust me, we know our audience. And they know that it's politics because they can now see that the NDC have done the 133. Right now, it's no longer 419. It's 133. They promised Ghanaians 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 jobs. That did not happen. And
They are
today,
they are just in the first
oh, please, they are what first term? Let's move on. What I want to say today is that, look, let not my brother come in and hoodwink Ghanaians. This is a very big platform. When you're doing the math, do the math completely. Don't say that 10% of 800 you know is 80, but you don't know 10% of the 7% of 8,
it's 84.
of 12, oh, 7% of 12, whatever.
It's 84.
My brother, I agree. But the point we need to do is this. We need Ghana to benefit. Whether it's a framework that is being done to basically create a broader negotiation for mining, lithium is mining. One of the things that we do in this country that has created a problem, you know, we did the 919 for the upstream. You know, before, all the oil negotiations was done under PNEC Law 84, which was more flexible because the lawyers and the Ghana, all the agencies can negotiate the physicals, the royalties, the surface rentals, and all those things. Then everybody kicked against that. Kufuor gave too much to the oil companies, this. We need a new law. Then we went in and did a very regimental straitjacket law, which is the 919. Do you know, up to today, no company in Ghana has signed on to 919. Nobody. Since its passage, no company has negotiated under 919. And today, the ministry is looking at an amendment of the 919, a review of 919. If we are not careful, this thing that we are doing, yes, the sliding scale, some of us, the civil society and the lawyers have come in to say that it's a good thing. But the implementation of it should not necessarily be the floor being 5. Because when you set a floor of 5, and bear in mind, it is not government that negotiates it. A sliding scale is done by the authorities. So Minerals Commission is the authority, right? When it comes to Petroleum Commission is the authority. They are the ones that look at, the company will bring a proposal and say, look, these are my prices. These are my thing. This has kicked in, so I think the sliding scale should be this. And the authorities, based on the law, will look at it. It's not government that is going in to say that, no, this is this, let me come in. So if we do not set the base, like my sister said, it shouldn't be 15. Why 12? Why 12? Because if we look at the other jurisdiction, and Amanda says something very careful. Maybe the company, there is a butter. And as a businessman, maybe I'm prepared to do local production. I'm prepared to do value added. I'm prepared to do a lot more within country. And then the carrot should be that I get more in terms of what government gives me. Maybe, no, I have a factory in Australia that I don't want to process in Ghana, but I can now subscribe to a much higher royalties and stuff like that, so that there is a give why I'm not processing locally. Because in these things that Amanda talks about, what influence does the key in terms of, key decisions, what influence does government have in key decisions? Most companies might come in and say, look, I'm prepared to give you 15% royalties, but because I have a factory in Japan or in Australia, I cannot process locally. That's fine. But those are things that we expected the NDC with all their noise, with reset, to tell us. And
that's what he's tried telling us.
When he can't even multiply.
Oh, are you serious?
He left the multiplication out.
Do it, 7% of 1,000
He did a rate.
Yeah,
Let's move.
No, do it.
He did the multiplication just fine. The problem is not a multiplication thing. You don't say that I'm selling this phone for 200. But because the prices of phones have increased or something, I don't even know how to even turn it. Because it was 200 and now it's 400, government should still remain, sell it at 200 because if we sell it, we should sell it for 250 because even that we are even making profit. No, the thing is this. I'm not confusing you. I'm saying that what we are saying is that 2006, President Kufuor came up with these royalties for minerals for 5%. 10 years down the lane, today, 10 years, because we are just going to 2026. That will be 20 years. And then we are here again to talk about 5%. You are understanding what
so 5% is the floor.
Yeah, so how? That President Kufuor, 20 years, we don't go forward though. We've changed governments upon governments. And these governments that we change, they are supposed to bring new ideas, fresh ideas, to push our country forward. I'm telling you that they are still backward 20 years ago, 2006, you are still talking about 5% royalties. Don't you go forward? Why? Why should we be staying at this 5%?
Okay.
Look, truth be told, this is a very bad idea. I don't think anyone should accept it. And if they want us to do town council meetings for them, we will go around the 261 districts to tell people never to accept it and tell people the real situation on the ground. And I don't think after we are done, you will be able to pass this bill. Okay. And then the company will have to run away because you can't come in with 10% and another political party will come in saying that you should reduce it and you reduce it. Whatever you will do, Ghanaians, we are not signing that bill. You have majority in parliament to use it to protect us, not to use it to defraud us. It's not the best at all. It's not the best.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on and talk about OSP.
What I do know about this whole mining royalties business is that at all given point in time, government has the bigger interest at hand. I hear people say, oh, the 5% is too low and all that. Of course, even in opposition, we said that that was marked.
No, you were talking about 10% being low in opposition.
In government, obviously, you get to see the facts. And then some concessions are made. The mining company or the lithium, what's the name of that?
Barari DV.
Barari and Co. are also not people who just showed up overnight. They have a business interest, whilst government has talked to the commercial interest or, benefit interest. And when negotiations are made, they are not made in a vacuum. They are made based on the current issues prevailing. In fact, when the bill was laid earlier, the rate of lithium had gone down below what the MPP had actually proposed at the time, when it was 5. When we took it to Parliament and we had to withdraw it. At that time, the rate had actually gone below the 800 that the MPP was negotiating at the time.
Really?
It is in
This year, it has hovered between 900 and now 1,002.
It was not 900 and 1,002.
Hey.
Now, what happened
I'm saying it has hovered, so it hasn't gone below the 800.
It went below the 800 the MPP was marking at the time. When we took it to Parliament for the 5% that was withdrawn.
Our research team has done some comprehensive work.
Well, they can come back. They
can
come back again.
That's why I'm saying that has never gone below the.
No, but even in Parliament, when Amabo was about to lay this bill, that's the concept.
Oh, but that's for figures from government side. They've banded a lot of figures.
Why are you talking? So government no longer is credible to put out figures.
We are not saying so.
I'm talking about the figure that the minister.
But I'm also saying that our research team has done work on it.
You and I are only reading from the internet at best. But the minister who sits in the seat, who has the figures at hand, says that at a certain point in time, the rates were below what even the MPP had at the time they were having the agreement.
But do you know that has been reported? Do you know these minerals?
Why is it that when I'm talking,
no, I will allow you. But you know I always allow you. It is because
you're my brother. Let me finish.
Yeah,
then you can come.
Because as you say that we are reading from the internet, but you know that there's a world market where you can go for all of these prices. They are there.
But you distort me.
Okay, here, carry on.
You distort me. Even
carry on.
Even gold. Even what's the name? Crude oil. There are different types of crude oil.
You carry on.
You can't go for one and say that this is the price. We need to know our own. What's the price of ours?
Carry on.
So there are different negotiations at different levels that come up. The president was very magnanimous to all of us at the time when he said that he was consulting the CSOs on the way forward. I believe that sincerely, if something untoward is happening or has happened, we won't pick it up. But this business of we are in a hurry and at the NDC promised and they didn't fulfill and at the NDC this didn't do, it's all politics. For me, it's all politics. At the end of the day, what does Ghana stand to benefit? At the time they were doing this, there was an assumption that we could have a lithium a refinery in Ghana. Mm-hmm. Today, the scoping that came out, when the experts came to do the scoping, everybody has agreed that we cannot have a lithium refinery in Ghana because we don't have the numbers to do that. So, indeed, at the time you had some of this agreement, there were some factors that could give rise to some of these figures. As we speak, a lot of things have changed.
So were we able to have a refinery at the time, and we can have it now?
There was a suggestion that we could have.
Yes.
But now the experts have gone into the figures. And the scoping that came out says that we cannot. And from different sources.
We can't do refinery.
You can't do it because you don't have the numbers.
Okay.
Having a refinery is not a wishy-washy thing that you just get up and say, I want to have a refinery. You must have the numbers. Well, we've had oil in this country since 2006. Have we had a refinery of oil, crude oil in this country? We don't have. Because why? We don't have the numbers. What we get from our field does not constitute the numbers to have a refinery directly for that. In any case, our own refinery, which is the TOR, was refining a different type of crude. So let us see the discussions within the context of what is happening today, the global market, and our politics. Then, the usual politics of NDC said it, they didn't do it, they have deceived you, it's 419, and I hear all that. MPP today has the moral authority to tell us 419 government, please.
Because they organized the
which of the camera? This camera, right? Let me say something. Look, there was a government that said there was going to be a refinery. And negotiated 10% with a refinery. There's a government that is telling you that there cannot be a refinery. But he's doing 5%. Let's Ghanaians judge. But that's what you said. That's what you said. In summary, that's what you said.
No.
You just said that. You just said that is what. It's not politics. That's what you said.
That decides to have.
That is what you said. You are saying that
planting a refinery.
Look, Amanda said a lot of things. Amanda said there are a lot of politics.
It's not the MPP kind of politics.
Well, that's right.
And the science today is saying that we cannot have a refinery because we don't have the numbers.
So the science
you were talking based on politics. Why? What didn't you tell us?
The MPP
what didn't you tell us?
Are better than your scientists.
No,
the scientists you pick. They are not that. No, they are not. They are not good scientists.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Let's pick the MPP scientists. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they are better, they will give us 10%. One scientist will give us 5%.
At the time they said there could be a refinery, that's not science. That's not scientific. That is not real. They had done no basis. They have done no data. They have looked at no figures to tell that there could be a refinery.
And the company saw it and gave us 10%.
Now we have gone ahead to engage companies or experts in the industry to give us figures, scientific figures. Because who is going to invest in your refinery if they don't have the numbers? Who is going to do it? So it's one thing to wish and tell people that, oh, you're going to have a refinery, you're going to say all the nice things. But the reality has to do with the fact that, have you done the scientific study to show that there can be a refinery in this country? Okay. And the scientific study says no. And this has no business with government, whether MPP in government or NDC in government. Okay. If the science is what it is, it is what it is.
Okay. You know something? I think that we should hold the NDC scientists because they are giving us 5%. Oh. They are those telling us that they cannot do it. They say they don't have a refinery. But during the MPP time, they had scientists who were able to get all these things to a company that even signed to it. So can you hold your company, your scientists, and allow the MPP people to take over? It doesn't matter. Even though we are in opposition, if you are going to cause financial... if the NDC is going to cause financial loss to us, it's better we engage the opposition.
Talk to facts.
No. We sacked you. MPP, we are sorry that we asked you to go. Come back. Come back and take over.
We have always known you as
I'm not saying that come back as a party. Come back in the lithium deal.
Are you changing your mind?
Because they will help our interest more than you.
Jane, for one.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Reset.